Hi everyone. This is a video to show you how you can rehair your violin bow for just $20 in under 10 minutes. Sounds too good to be true? Well, I thought it might be also. I went onto Google and searched for what's the cheapest way to rehair your bow, and found that most places, most shops these days would charge you anywhere from $60 to $100 to rehair your bow, and you'll have to go down to the shop and leave your bow there for a while, come back, pick it up, and then I searched for how to rehair your bow yourself, which I found quite a few videos on, but the whole process just seemed too much work. So I figured, hey, why can't I just take a cheap $20 bow on Amazon and just move the hair and the frog from the cheap Amazon bow to my bow? So I thought I'd give it a try. Here's results. It turns out that this actually is quite feasible and quite easy to do, and will save you lots of money. So below here, you see the cheap Amazon bow that I ordered. It was $20, arrived next day, and although the bow itself is really, really cheap, and I would never use, you can see it has this kind of rubber cover on it, and round stick that was kind of warped and very poor looking cheap finish on it. The hair and the frog actually looked decent. So I decided, hey, let's give this a try. So my original bow over here, it was missing about half the hair when I bought this violin for $45. So I certainly didn't want to have to spend over $60 to rehair it. But it was missing about half of its hair. Been used quite a bit. So what I thought, okay, how do I do this? Well, I start by taking the original bow here, which had this frog and hair on it, and I had to remove the frog and the hair. Well, removing the frog's easy. You just unscrew this part. Everyone knows that, and pull that out. What you probably don't know is how to remove the hair from here, and it turns out it's not hard. There is basically, the bow will have kind of a notch in there with a little piece of wood that gets stuffed into there, and that just basically acts as a cork to keep the hair in there. And the tip of the hair basically comes down to a point here. You can see that. And that just gets stuffed inside this little hole here. And it is basically that little piece of wood that will hold it in there. So the key is, how do I get the wood out and then be able to stuff the hair in? So the way to do that is, after you've unscrewed it, and let me hold on a second and show you. Okay, so what I've done here is I've unscrewed, I don't know why this is not focusing. As you can see, I've unscrewed the frog, and here's the hair, and over here is the tip. Okay, and you can see there's a little piece of wood there, and you can see there's a hole in it. The reason why there's a hole in it is I took the thinnest drill bit that I had, drilled a little hole into it, and then put a very small wood screw into it so I could wiggle it and pull that out. Now, it's possible I could have done it in other ways by just taking a screwdriver or a nail or something and pull it out that way, but I thought I'd try it this way. If you do it this way, you have to be careful not to split this piece of wood, okay? But if you can leave it intact with screw in there, that's ideal. So once I had the screw in there, I then pulled the piece of wood out, came out pretty easily, and I could see the tip right here, I could see that crammed inside of there, and I took some pliers and basically had to wiggle real hard for a minute or so to basically pull that out. Okay, so once I pulled that out, then I basically had that piece. That was the original. That was from the original bow right there. Okay, then I did the same thing on the cheap Amazon bow, and took the piece out with the hair and the frog and just transferred it over here, stuffed it into this hole. Then I used that screw and wedge piece and wiggled it back into there. And then I basically took a hammer and a large wood screw and hammered it a few times to flatten it in there to get it in there nice and tight. Okay, after that, it's a simple matter of just rescrewing this frog back into here, and there you have it, a rehaired bow. And the only cost was the cost of this cheap Amazon bow, which, you know, for $20 is not a great bow, granted, but it comes with perfectly good hair and a surprisingly good frog. You can see that the quality of the frog on this Amazon bow is quite good. It's got ebony, it's got mother pearl inlay, mother pearl there, and it's quite comparable to the one that my original bow had. And let's face it, you know, your frog doesn't make a lot of difference in your instrument here. It really has to do with the stick, the hair, and the violin. So it's one of the least important elements. Okay, like I said, this I think is the cheapest way you can rehair your bow. Only $20. Save yourself a trip, save yourself some money. And let me know if you try it and what you think. Hopefully it's as helpful. Like I said, when I tried to Google for this, I couldn't find anybody who wrote about whether this was even possible. So hopefully this will help you out, all you budding violin players out there.